Good morning, Brandon, and anybody else who's watching. Um, Question. Uh, the last time I went to your mother's home to pick y'all up for visitation, you hit me square in the face with your fist. Actually, in the nose, like I'd always told you. If you want to stop somebody, hit him with the nose. There's probably better ways, martial arts ways to stop people, but anyway. Um, Brandon, question. Why did you want to be that way to your dad? Why? Calvin, you were part of it. Why did you want to be that way to your dad? A lot of that answer, maybe 100% of it, is because you were trained to be that way. Oma participated in manipulating your brain to be that way by supporting Debbie, who was manipulating you to be that way. Okay? That was psychological, spiritual, and in all ways abusive to you to train you that way. And the reason I say psychological, meaning it wasn't physical abuse. Oma wasn't hitting you, and that's because I stopped that, and she punished me for confronting her. Narcissists can't handle confrontation because it injures their self-concept. How dare you point out a flaw in me, But if it wasn't for me, Oma would have been hitting all of you kids, just like she did Brandon, and just like she did me. But she slapped Brandon on the leg one time and left a mark, and that's when I told her. Okay? So, and she punished me for months, at least 6 months, just being a witch. Which is what she's doing now because I still confront her. But why did you want to be that way? Because you were trained to be that way. You were all trained to have a hostile disregard for your dad. All right, and there are severe psychological consequences to that, as you're seeing them. I mean, when Marshall asked you if you could get on board, I don't know how long ago this was, a year or two ago, to not alienating dad, or I don't remember how he told me he put it. He said that you, I can't remember his exact words, but broke down and wept bitterly, like Peter did when he denied knowing Jesus. He felt bad about it and went out and wept bitterly. Yeah, he said you wept bitterly or something to that effect and said, I can't. That's because of psychological abuse done to you. So when I'm asking you, why did you want to be that way? I'm helping you answer. I'm telling you not helping you, I'm telling you what I see, that you were trained that way. If you want to get untrained, you gotta do the work. Maybe you don't want to do the work. Maybe you don't want to get untrained, and maybe you're happy the way it is. That's your choice. Just like a lot of the training I had was very unhealthy and did severe damage to me. My mother was knocking me around at age 3, if not earlier, because at my 4-year-old birthday party, some kid was acting up, one of my friends. I don't remember this. I just remember the story. And maybe I do remember it. Either way. And I went up to my friend and said, you better do what my mother tells you or she will knock the snot out of you. That means she had been knocking the snot out of me at age 3, because I was turning 4 that day. That did stuff, The thing about that stuff, it works. Trauma training works because your brain always remembers the trauma. Even if your conscious mind doesn't remember, your unconscious mind will. I was reading about the Eskimos. A lady went to live with the Eskimos for 18 months just as a sort of a scientific observing. And they lived in an igloo. And she said they never screamed and they never used violence on their children. That the mother would say when the kid was throwing a tantrum, which is natural. This is the process of the terrible twos, tantrums and stuff. I'm sure we were knocked around. The kid is trying to establish some boundaries and some identity, learning to say no. that the Eskimo mother said, "Here, hit me with this rock. Harder, harder." And then finally the mother would say, as the kid was doing this tantrum, "Ow, that hurts. Oh, that hurts." And this would, as the kid was having the tantrum, it would trigger his empathy and compassion for his mother when she started crying. And this was manipulative, but in a healthy way. It helped the child see how much damage he does, or she, when she's throwing a tantrum. And it makes that awareness come around in the child rather than knocking the kid around like we were done, all right? Now, I saw another video a few years ago, and I posted this on my YouTube, of a man whose son was having a tantrum, and the guy just held the kid, just comforted him and held him the whole time instead of knocking him around. A lot of my issues come from being knocked around, and it's stuck down in there. And just like you, Brandon, I'm having to navigate it and kind of manage it because I can't make it go away. I can't make those old triggers go away. But I can consciously see them, try to get outside myself and kind of observe myself and go, oh, that stuff's in there. I didn't put it there, but it's in there. So back to my original question, why did you want to be that way? Why did Calvin want to be that way? And why did Marshall want to be that way? And why did Luke not? I mean, Luke participated in not getting in the car. He was being a butthole too, but Luke was not being violent. It confused him, and he wasn't sure what to do. That's one of the trauma responses: fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. I learned to fawn, kiss butt, make peace by kissing butt. I was good at it, and when I stopped doing it, guess what? They all kicked me to the curb. I balanced our family by being the leader of fawning. Okay, David had this huge, violent. He was physically abusive, sexually abusive, and psychologically abusive to all of us. And I was extra good on the other end to try to make the peace. When I stopped doing that, you with me? I was, that was a bullshit role for me. But it was well motivated, well intended. All right. Why'd you want to be that way? You were programmed that way, just like the Merovingian. He was a bad program. It was a bad program to stick in there. Go get them.